What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome back in for another edition of the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS podcast live stream. We are recording here for Friday's 8-game main slate. James, fun slate we have on tap here. We love these 8 gamers. We call it our quote-unquote wheelhouse. And some pretty good matchups here as well for us to kind of target and take advantage of our late night hammer. 10:30, we have the Kings and Lakers, 226 total. No LeBron James in that one already. 10 o'clock, we have Cleveland Golden State at 228. 9:30, 234.5 game total for Minnesota Memphis there to lead the slate. So a pretty good one. We also kick off the slate with a 232.5 Celtics game. It feels like we don't
Never.
often get
Never.
high total Celtics games here, but Denver going into Boston, 232.5 game total there, a 4.5 point spread.
Yeah, you're right. Like, we don't see stuff like that, and it is good to see. And we have a lot of injury news, as you mentioned. Like, LeBron's out. We already know Giannis is out. We know Drew Holiday's out. Siakam's been out. Bankero is questionable. Like, there's a ton of high-profile names. Cade Cunningham, Chris Paul, both questionable. Like, ton of high-profile names being out or questionable, and yet every game except for one is 220 or above. So lots of fun totals on the board, right in the middle of, perfect amount of games on this slate. Lots to like here, and I'm excited for it to kick off.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you mentioned the injuries, right? Giannis already ruled out, LeBron already ruled out. We know Siakam's out for a while there, Drew Holiday's out. Like, interesting roster builds again. I don't think Javon Carter is going to go for 65 fantasy points again, but he is also $5,300. So, we at least got the appropriate price bumps. DraftKings was aware of the news here that these guys weren't going to play, and we're not dealing with, some 3K disasters here to throw in the lineup. So, we'll kick it off. Curry at 10-3, Morant at 10K. We talked about Morant, 234 game total in that one against Minnesota here. What are your feelings on this top tier point guard group?
I mean, it really hasn't mattered the matchup for Steph Curry. He's been incredible lately, and they've needed every bit of it to just be competitive in games, let alone win them. I mean, they're 1-6 in their last 7. Steph's on a different planet. 57 plus fantasy points in 3 straight, including a 72 fantasy point game. He's doing everything. He's hitting every shot he takes. He's assisting on every other basket that he's not the one scoring in, and he's rebounding just as well as anyone else on the team. Without looking, I don't know if he's the leader for them in terms of rebounding.
He's probably
but
he might
be. Yeah, he might be. So it's really hard not to like Curry here. It's also really hard not to like Morant in the spot that he's in. I know Morant let us down. He let me down. I mean, 47 fantasy points is great if you're not 10K. 14 for 25 shooting, 32 points. So we need a little more peripheral stats from Morant to get there, but great total, great game environment. I prefer Curry just in current form, but I like both the guys over 10K.
Tier below them, SGA here. He's home. He gets a matchup against Toronto, though. We've talked a lot about Toronto generally plays kind of tougher defensively. I think you said they play slow too, right? They're a very slow-paced team. But SGA again can give you 50 plus, kind of on his own. He did it again in that double OT game against Milwaukee the other day there. De'Aaron Fox at $8,600 going up against the Lakers. A good price tag on him there. Fred VanVleet against the Thunder. We played him the other night. We told you to play him. He was a cover of this podcast. 55 fantasy points, 32, 3, 4. He had a combination of 5 total blocks and steals here. A really great spot and a really great price tag. I'm surprised they haven't bumped him up more, honestly, there. So, again, this middle tier, this upper middle tier, 7K and above, there's a lot of pretty good spots here.
Yeah, I mean, SGA is great. Fox is great. VanVleet is great. I don't know, they're all elite plays. I think
VanVleet probably the chalk, no? Of
that group, he's probably the highest owned. I don't think a lot of people get to SGA.
We've just been
It's
talking
just
about the usage rate with him, right? Like the usage rate for Van
yeah,
Vliet without Siakam is through the roof.
elite. Yeah.
Um,
And I think people don't view De'Aaron Fox as an $8,600 player. And he's been kind of worth it this year, right? Like,
he early on the year he was popping.
yeah.
So now we talk about it. Those were games where Sabonis was in foul trouble.
Right.
So maybe he had to do more, and then now recently Sabonis has been able to stay on the floor a little bit more, and scoring's
Right.
come down a little bit, but still.
Yeah, so I think Van Vliet probably the favorite of that group, and then the next tier is incredibly interesting because Garland, no one's going to play, and I think that's a mistake because they still think 74 is too cheap.
Has his worst game
And
of the year, and they bumped his price.
yeah, and Golden State, we've been talking about it, is just not good defensively. Like
Right.
they just are not the same team as they were. They're 27th in defensive rating, and conversely, they're second in pace. So like they're playing really fast and they're not playing any defense. That will really bode well for our shares of Cavs here. I'm willing to go back to the well on Garland. And then the question of the day is probably like, what do we do with Russell Westbrook considering there's no LeBron James?
I mean, yeah, we saw what happened. It was a couple of games ago when they were out. He was giving you 40 plus fantasy points. I think you go back $7,300 here against Sacramento. We like going against Sacramento guards, so I'm fine with it. If he starts, if he comes off the bench, either way, you just can the Lakers stay competitive in a game like that? Is
I don't know.
I don't know. He played 24 minutes against Utah because they lost by 30 points. Like, so there's certainly some risk there. I think the Garland pivot is true. In terms of low rostership, and I feel the same way about Brunson as well. Like, the fact that Brunson let everybody down the other day. I liked him.
Right.
He gave you 3 straight games of 40 plus fantasy points, and he goes out there against Brooklyn and lays an egg in a game that they got blown out in. Right. KD went nuclear in that game, so it was kind of hard for them to really keep pace. But $6,800 is the cheapest he's been in 4 slates here, and if Cade Cunningham isn't going to be in the game, I think this is a potentially interesting bounce back spot for Jalen Brunson here as well.
Absolutely agree. Because he's been nails outside of one game this year. 2 games. One in Milwaukee, which, nobody does well against Milwaukee, and then bad game against Brooklyn. So be it. Every other game has been incredibly good, and there's no reason his price should be dropping. So.
Yep, I agree. Under 6K. Anybody? Do you pay up for a Cameron Payne at 57 or Javon Carter at 53 if they're starting?
Yes to Payne. I guess we have to consider Javon Carter. I mean, he's just such a low usage guy, but if 27 shots, a benching of Bobby Portis in the middle of that game, like there's a lot of things factoring into why we should look at Javon Carter, I guess. Like Spurs play really fast and they're not a very good defense. Cameron Payne, is a really good fantasy point per minute guy, just in the lowest total on the board. That's the only thing with him. So like, I think there's merit to playing both. I guess if I were to pick one, it'd probably, unfortunately, I don't want to say Carter, but like probably would be Carter because.
So here's kind of an interesting thing, and it is definitely probably because of the most recent game, but this year when he has been on the floor and Holiday and Giannis have been off the floor, do you want to guess what his usage rate is?
What's the minute? What's the sample?
60.8 minutes. So basically two.
So he played
games.
40. He played 45 minutes last game. So that was almost 100% based on.
Right. So we're gonna have the same. We're gonna have the same scenario.
He had 27 shots. Like it has to be like in the 30s.
I'll go back to this season. We'll see if that increases his minute total here.
I'll say. You said that was for the last 2 years or just this year?
I said just for the last week because it included the 2 games that Giannis had missed.
Okay. I'll go. I don't know. 31.
Nah, it's 20. So the last 2 weeks it was 28%, a 1.37 fantasy points per minute. On the season, it's 27%, 1.24 fantasy points per minute with Drew Holiday and Giannis off the floor.
All right, gotta give him credit. If he is going to shoot that way, then like I can't fault you for playing him. I can't fault anyone for.
I mean, he's played 30 plus minutes 3 times this year, right?
Right.
And against the Knicks on 10-28, 27 fantasy points. Against the Thunder on 11-5, 26, and against the Thunder on 11-9, 62. So, when he plays 30 minutes, he's giving you 27, 26, and then 62 fantasy points. So, and again, the last game had no Drew and Giannis. The one before that had Holiday active. So,
yep, they're running it right back. So,
running right back. And then Payne gets Orlando if there's no Chris Paul. Let's see. Anybody under 5K stick out to you?
I mean, Highland in the game total, we know he's been pretty good. He led that charge back versus Indiana. They stole a win. I don't know how they won that game, but
yeah.
Malik Monk, who's point guard, shooting guard eligible, has been really good. Another 27 fantasy points against Cleveland. And that was a tough spot, and the Lakers are not that. Little revenge narrative here for Malik Monk.
40 fantasy points against Golden State in 31 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's been really good. And I feel like players like him, when they're riding this like wave, you just play him. So tournaments, I think you could play him. I think I don't know what we're going to do with Detroit if Cade sits, but Killian Hayes looked really good last time out. I don't know if they need to do that because they could play Jaden Ivey at their starting point guard and maneuver their rotation out like
Alec Diallo Burks. Some run. I saw him on the floor the other day.
Diallo and Alec Burks, who are both questionable. So like they could get one of those guys back and that makes things easier for us, but I don't know. If Killian Hayes were to start, we know that there's like a very low floor for Killian Hayes, but 3,400.
We don't have to stretch it. Okay. Shooting guard. Booker, obviously, if there's no Chris Paul. Yep. 59 fantasy points the other day. We talk about it like this is just what he does when there's no CP3. So if he's out, he's in. Donnie Mitch playing really well with Garland. Here's the thing. Yep. I don't get him right, so I just won't play him. But you guys can. Like when you play him, he'll do great. So you mentioned Golden State not playing defense, high game total. Certainly can run it back with him there. Yep. Desmond Bane, he keeps just shooting the ball ridiculously well, even next to Ja Morant. 50 fantasy points for him there, 32 actual. Now that was obviously the overtime game, but still, I mean, for the most part this season, he's been out there dropping 40 bombs on everybody.
Yeah, I think that's the problem getting to Morant right now, that they both had 32 points and Morant was $2,000 more.
Right.
Like, so if that's going to be the case, just play the guy that's $2,000 less, right? Mm-hmm. Simple as that. So, I think I'd rather play Bane at this point. I like Morant. Obviously, Morant has, an incredible ceiling, but hard to get to right now.
Yep. Under $7,000, Wagner and Vassell both playing really strong basketball right now. If guys are ruled out, if like Banchero can't go again for Orlando, I don't know his status currently. I think he's questionable.
Questionable, yep.
Wagner at 69 obviously is an interesting spot. Phoenix can be tough defensively. Devin Vassell, knowing that there's no Holiday, no and Giannis, like 6,800, like that feels like maybe a core play almost.
Yeah, I don't know how much interest I'm going to have in Orlando, just given that they're probably going to have the lowest implied total. That game has the lowest total on the board. I guess there's some value to be had if Banchero doesn't play, but I don't think I'm going to get to 6,900 Franz Wagner. I do love the Vassell call. We were talking about the other day. Like he has such a higher ceiling than Keldon Johnson. For anyone that thought, Keldon Johnson was going to be the guy to stand out this year, like I think it's been Vassell. So
yeah,
I have no problem getting there. We saw what happens. Giannis and there's clearly a defensive lapse when there's no Giannis and when there's no Drew Holiday, like two of the better defenders in the whole entire league. So Yeah, I'm perfectly fine going some Spurs here, and what's his name tops the list.
Yeah.
Sell.
You mentioned Jaden Ivey if Cade Cunningham was out. Jaden Ivey with Cade Cunningham has been
I know
unbelievable.
he's been good.
45 and 49 fantasy points the last two games here. Double doubles with rebounds, not
Yep.
assists, with rebounds and back-to-back games here. I mean, again, Detroit's building a ridiculous young core. We were worried about Cade Cunningham this year because we thought Jaden Ivey was going to be this guy. Or once the season started, we started getting a little bit worried about Cade. Cade eventually went on this run where he was looking like the number one overall pick. But then you
Right.
see, and that's around the time where Jaden Ivey sort of, kind of settled in a little bit. But now you see Jaden Ivey picking it right back up, and then consequently,
Yep.
Cade's production's obviously starting to dip down a little bit here. So if Jaden Ivey without Cade Cunningham here against the Knicks at $5,700, that is, again, it feels like a spot that many people will be looking to go to.
Yeah, I think it's borderline core play without Cade. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing he's doing is like he's doing everything. He's doing everything.
The way he's playing with Cade right now has been
Right.
unreal. So
Right. No, I know. I'm not saying like I wouldn't, because I would. I'm just saying if there is no Cade,
sure.
hard pressed not to just lock him into our lineups,
Yep.
kind of any and all formats.
No arguments. Low 5K range. If Lonnie Walker comes back, he's got Sacramento with no LeBron. Grayson Allen's right there at 5,100 too, though. 32
Yep.
fantasy points for him, 35 minutes. So would probably be another pretty popular option here against San Antonio. Running it back with them. The same Milwaukee stack you played the other night. Like, just play it again, basically.
Including Portis, which we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll talk. Listen, I think more people will just pivot over to Brook
Yep.
for this game, and then you just play Portis this time, right? Like,
Yep.
I played them both. I had Lopez at 12%. Portis was 80% in the 27 single, and Portis and Brook Lopez going for 55 was what ended up pushing me over the cash line there. So
Right.
We talked about the Denver Boston game, but we haven't talked about many Denver Boston. So we didn't talk about Jamal Murray, Marcus Smart, Derek White with no Malcolm Brogdon. KCP and Bones Highland are all here in this low 5K range as well. Like, does any Boston... We did talk about Jaylen Brown, who's gone for 30 actual in 2 of the last 3. I mean, we're so not accustomed to playing Boston plays, but 234 game total. I mean, does anything here interest you when it comes to their guards?
Yeah, I mentioned Bones at point guard for tournaments. I do like Murray as well. He's looked pretty good offensively. He's starting to get back to himself. I'm very much looking forward to mid 30s minutes for Jamal Murray because we're still just kind of capped 32, 33, which is kind of capping the upside. I think he's fine in like cash. Jaylen Brown, fine. I do like 8,200. We're getting back to like that point where I'm more comfortable using guys. Probably not going to get to KCP. He's been good, 26 fantasy points in back-to-back games, 4 of his last 5. So you can.
He just has to literally hit all of his shots.
He has to hit all his shots. I think
5 of 6, 5 of 8, 5 of 7. He's hitting all of his shots right now.
Yeah, I think he was kind of aided too last game with massive Jokic random foul trouble, where his offense had to pick up because Jokic just wasn't on the floor for half the game. So, he's fine. This game, great total. Boston, I think Derek White, you mentioned, could be, 25, maybe 30?
Yeah. So I'm curious. So Brogdon got hurt in that game. Boston also was in a blowout mode for a bit there. So, Smart and Derek White didn't get a bunch of minutes, really. So we don't know the impact of the Brogdon injury. I texted you earlier this morning. Sam Hauser played 31 minutes in that game, but Hauser was also getting early run in that game too. He played significant second quarter minutes in that game. He knocked down 7 threes, right? That's just kind of what he is. So I'm curious as how they would run that rotation with Brogdon out of the lineup, but White is for sure the first guard off the bench now.
Right.
And he has he played 20 minutes against Detroit. He had 26 fantasy points. He's been a very active player, dealing with Brogdon kind of being the usage guy next to him now. White could just pick up the offense now when he's coming off the bench. So Tournament play only for sure, but 4K on a kind of a bigger slate like 8 games like this on a total. If you're looking for a way to get some exposure, I don't know. It's kind of calling me out a little bit.
Sure.
Let's see. Anybody else for you here, shooting guard? Any other guys?
Not that I see, unless Diallo were to start. If he played, but other than that, it's doom and gloom down here.
What do you make of Trey Mann playing 36 minutes? Just hot. They kept him on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, I get it. I guess
just know just play Malik Monk though, right? Why would we play?
I'd feel better about Malik Monk's role at least. Like
100%.
I'm not comfortable at all.
Yep, no arguments. Tatum is your top price small forward here at 10-1. Again, not giving you crazy ceiling. You did against Chicago 66, but 46, 50, 45. The price is down a little bit on him, so he's 10-1 instead of 10-3. 234 game total. I could see. It's rare that we see a 234 game total and think like, all right, this is going to be a low owned game, but it feels like nobody ever plays Tatum, right? So,
Nope.
If you want to be contrarian, like this is at least Vegas is suggesting this is a spot where Tatum could give you a ceiling game here. So,
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a low owned game, and it feels kind of like, because everyone's like priced properly. There's like no edge on Jaylen Brown. There's no edge on Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
But they both have an edge as in like their ability to score 40 actual in the game. Right. So, I'm okay getting to Tatum. It's not my favorite spend up, but it's definitely, you mentioned 234 total right at the top. Like Denver, not great defensively. They're 21st, Boston 27th. Yeah, so. in a big pace up spot. To Denver 7th in pace, Boston 21st. Over 2 possessions a game more. I know a lot of people don't think 2 possessions is a lot, but like in terms of pace and the way that plays out, it's going to be more than 2 possessions too. So, I like the Boston guys here.
Yeah, Tatum's interesting. Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, again, we can just play Toronto. That's fine. Do you lean one over the other?
Oh, gee. Oh, my God. Dude, like, Scotty Barnes is, like, again, he's good, but, like, OG is just different.
Yeah.
Because he just...
The defense? 5,
6, 7, 8, 9 straight games with at least 2 steals. Like, it's not a fluke. Like, I get 6 maybe a fluke, but he's done it 3 times where he's had 5 or more steals, and he's had
6 straight games with 3 or more.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a fluke. Like, especially if you're playing on FanDuel, like, it's just not. It's just so many points, and he's making shots. This is a guy we were very high on last year. Got hurt, and the 3-point shot is improving. He's 40% from 3 this year, 47 overall. He's rebounding. And again, there's no Pascal Siakam. Like, look at all the shot attempts. 21, 19, 12, 20. Like, this guy is just very good right now. So, and Scotty Barnes it's just a roller coaster. He's one of those players that, like...
I think what we're coming to is, like, we like Scotty Barnes when Van Vliet's out because he plays point guard.
Yeah, because he played,
we like OG when Siakam's out. So, I think that's...
I mean, it's just, you get a triple-double in the Dallas game. Siakam got hurt in that game. There was no Van Vliet.
Yep.
And then since Van Vliet's back, Scotty Barnes, 5, 4 assists. Fine. Not 10 assists, though.
Right. Let's see. Keldon's fine at 71. Probably contrarian because most will look at OG at that price point if you want to go there. Mid 6K range. We'll peel the Band-Aid off slowly for this one. Mikal Bridges. If there's no Chris Paul, there is no Cam J. He took 20 shots in that game, 31, 9, and 5. Listen, if Devin Booker is going to be the point guard, quote unquote, right, then someone else is shooting. And Mikal Bridges was the guy shooting. Now, different game environment. Minnesota, Memphis has the Minnesota matchup tonight. So,
Right.
But Bridges just popped off here. The minutes are going to be there for him. I think that if Paul's out again, I don't mind running it back. I don't think it's chasing. I know you said you don't really like much of this game, Phoenix Orlando, and I get why. But I think it's an interesting spot again because they're gonna score, right? Somebody's gonna score here for Phoenix. So
Yeah, I like it more from the Phoenix side. I'll say that. Orlando, the reason I mean, it's a 214 total and Orlando's 7-point dog. So what could their implied team total possibly be in that scenario? Like it's going to be barely 100 points. So I'm okay going Bridges. I definitely agree that Devin Booker was playing point guard. I mean, even campaign playing off the ball mostly. He was used as more of the scoring guard. Not that Booker didn't get his too, because he definitely got his too.
Did, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we could get to Bridges. 65 is a lot, right? It's a lot, but look, the guy put up 60 fantasy points. I can't really say anything against him,
Yep. Other 6K guys here, MPJ, if you want to just stack Boston, it's fine. I don't ever play Gary Trent. It just feels like you got to just get lucky on the night that he goes off. Dylan Brooks, again, too much volume going with Bane and Morant to trust consistently. If Cade Cunningham sits, though, Sadiq Bey at 55, is there any interest there for you?
Maybe. It's very inconsistent. Like the scoring has been pretty good lately. 18, 25, 18, 22 actual. And the price has really come down. Just not a lot of anything else. I think Isaiah Stewart being there is like hurting him on the glass, and
Bojan taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, Bojan taking a lot of shots. I could get there. I could definitely get there.
Sadiq Bey this year with Cade Cunningham off the floor. 22% usage rate, 0.92 fantasy points per minute.
Solid stuff.
Jaden Ivey, 30% usage rate. We kind of figured that would be the case with that one there. So very limited sample size. Hamidou Diallo, 32%. So if he finds his way on the floor there. Bojan's only played 9 minutes this season without Cade Cunningham. So
attached at the hip, huh?
Yeah. They both just come off the floor. So all right, other small forwards as we work our way down the list here. Anybody in this low 5K range?
Do you know when it's going to be a Jaden McDaniels game, John? Because I sure can't get the guy right. You seem to be the McDaniels whisperers.
I don't know. I thought it was going to happen when Gobert was out, and that didn't end up being the case. So
and then Gobert comes back and he goes for 40.
Yeah, he goes nutty. So.
I mean, Chuma Okeke started 32 minutes last game. Yeah. Like that's what I'm talking about, Orlando. Like I wouldn't want to spend 7,000 for Franz when 4,500 for Chuma is available to me.
Troy Brown's going to start. He's been starting, but
Troy Brown's going to start. Marlon Beauchamp.
Yeah, right.
He started both games. Giannis has missed. He started both OKC games. One was a dud. Mm-hmm. One was very good. So again, like we were talking about Monday. Oh my God, it's been a long day. Thursday slate. Yeah, it's Thursday, right? Yeah. Officially Thursday. And we were talking about what the winning lineup looked like, and there was 5 Wizards.
Yep.
And the other night, like there were a lot of Bucks, like 4, and you can do stuff like that when you are taking the 3 best players from a team and this is why I've come around on Javon Carter. Like, I understand. I don't like Javon Carter is not that guy when, they're healthy. Sure. But there is no Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's no Drew Holiday. There is no Chris Middleton. We can play $3-4 if that's what fits. I mean, Grayson Allen 51, Javon Carter 53, Beauchamp 54. Like
It
they
was a lot
are
easier to get to them when they were 3K. Again, tonight's
correct.
Wizards team, like you had the
Correct.
3,200 Gafford and whatnot. So
That's fair. I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to like make a point that
Sure.
you can play multiple of these guys.
Yep, no arguments. I said it earlier. Again, Sam Hauser, I've kind of been talking to you about him all season, all preseason, off season. He's just a 3-point shooter. Yep. But again, no Brogdon, and he was getting first rotation minutes off the bench for this game. So last game against Detroit. So I feel like the way they're running their current starting lineup, and you and I talked about this, with Grant Williams in the starting lineup, it just gives them a need for a wing off the bench, which like Grant Williams was that first wing off the bench, and now he isn't, right? Because he's starting. So just something to consider here. I'm not calling him much more than a flyer there, but the guy's shooting 50% from three, and it's not a joke, right? Like he did this during the preseason. I think in the G League last year, he shot like 48% from three. Like that, this is what he does. Just an absolute knockdown 3-point shooter. So if he's, because of Brogdon's injury now and the way the rotation that Celtics are running, is going to find himself playing 25 minutes tonight at 3,700, I'd be willing to just throw him in a stack. Who knows? Maybe you get lucky and he goes off again. But they like the kid. They talk a lot about him, and he hits a lot of shots. So, any other value small forwards for you?
No, like I looked at Austin Reeves, but just the shot volume
Maybe
is
if
so low.
Livers starts for Cade, like who knows?
Maybe, yeah, maybe that could be. I mean, he's been a regular in their rotation, so
right.
It's possible.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna start for Cade. There'll be some value.
Somebody, yeah. If Cade's even out, like if he's out,
assuming Cade is actually even out there. Let's see here. Let's go to power forward. No one else is there. Giannis and LeBron are out. Anthony Davis is over 10K now. Again, I don't know how you feel about AD. Another letdown performance for him the other day. Towns is $9,300. Feels too expensive. I might just go back to Randall. Can I just like keep playing Julius Randall like I've been doing now for a week? You know,
it's worked. 40 fantasy points, 43 or more in 3 straight.
And a game they lost by 30. He still gave you 43 fantasy points and a double-double.
Yep. So, I agree. I fully support it. He's been super good.
Right? Like he should not be an under 8K forward. He shouldn't be.
But while he is.
Yep. Porter's got a price bump despite his recent performance there. He's at 7K now.
I'm going right back to the well. He's too high of a usage player. They benched him in the middle of that game. He's a freaking monster. I mean, he has a 21 rebound and 29-minute game this year with Jrue Holiday on the floor. So I'm not worried about it at all. I'm going right back to the well.
Yep, I'm with you there. I'm not going to chase Aaron Gordon's points again, and I think that was more Jokic aided. If he beats Boston, he beats Boston. Whatever.
He had 50 fantasy points with 8 shots. Like it's
Yeah, he's not going to do that again. I'm not going to play Draymond. I don't know if you agree or disagree to that, but I don't have any interest.
No, I'm good.
Mobley, again, your guy, not mine. Not really. I'm happy he had the big day against the Clippers. Like, great.
Yeah.
Do it more. Do it more consistently.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Bojan, I guess, at 54, if there's no Cade, should be probably a pretty good spot there.
Mm-hmm.
His shot is.
Yeah, the volume will definitely be there.
Yep.
Without Cade.
Yep. 39 minutes from Poku. Can we please just keep this guy on the floor?
I guess at the very least, you look at November and it's been 31, 28, 39, right?
Yeah.
Like, at the very least, because the guy is an abnormal human being. Like, he is 7'1", and he moves like a guard. Like, he's crazy. Like, he's an alien, right? Like
he was like the Wembayama
pre Wembayama. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Now, who the heck knows when he's gonna play 24 minutes or when he's gonna play 17 versus 39? But if you get the right day, he could go 40 fantasy points.
Right. We didn't mention it earlier, but Achua's out indefinitely, taking out another rotational player. Is this a Chris Boucher game? Like, minutes haven't been there again. Last 2 games, not playing.
I don't know. Nick
Fouls,
Nurse hates
I guess.
the guy.
Like, he got on the floor and he just started to hack in, so they took him off the floor, but there's no Achua.
Otto Porter played
Otto
23
Porter,
minutes.
Guess, right? Like, Thad Young? Is Thad getting minutes
I mean,
here?
look, I think what has to happen is because Kem Bircher's already ruled out too.
Yeah.
So, like, Thad played 27 minutes against Houston. Oh, God,
dude,
man.
If it's Thad, I'll play Thad. We like Thad. Like,
I know, but, like, what a nightmare this rotation is going to be. Because they're going to start Koloko.
Yeah.
Right? We know that. But he is either going to be in immediate foul trouble, and then we have to decide, okay, is it Boucher that gets the nod? Is it going to be Thad that gets the nod? Are they going to... Because I guess they could go small. No, I think it's going to be Thad, right? Thad? I don't know.
He played 13 minutes, he had 3 fouls. Otto Porter played 23, Thad played 27. How many minutes did Achua
Yeah, Koloko. No, Koloko is going to foul. I mean, the guy's been fouling.
Achua played 12 minutes before getting hurt. So, a popcorn machine it. When did people come in the game here? We're here trying to guess, and we have the answers at our hand. Game flow, popcorn machine. Thad came in at the start of the second quarter. 2 minutes into the second quarter, and he played the entire second quarter. Thad did.
Oh, sheesh.
He came in for Boucher or Achua. Him and Koloko both checked in. Boucher and Achua checked out at the same time. Achua didn't get hurt in that game till the end. Achua didn't play basically an entire game's worth of like half's worth of minutes there. He checked out 2 minutes into the second. He didn't check back in until 2 minutes left in the third. So, but Thad played almost the entire second quarter.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Otto Porter checked out in at the end of the first, played halfway through the second. Checked in halfway through the third, played all the way to the middle of the fourth. So a big run for Porter there as well. Precious probably got hurt at some point during that stretch. But dude, seeing Thad check in the way he did there.
Yeah, $3,100.
But like, was that because Boucher picked up like 3 fouls? Like why? It doesn't say any fouls.
You'll be able to see it.
Yeah, looking at it. Yeah, so he didn't have any fouls there until his end rotation there. So I don't know. Maybe it's Thad.
We're gonna play Thaddeus Young, 3,100. Oh God!
Again, he played big minutes, dude. He didn't play the entire first. Checked in at the 10:52 mark of the second quarter. Played the entire second quarter, 10:52 straight. Didn't start the third quarter, but checked in at the 10:52 mark of the third quarter, same exact minute mark, basically timeout spot, and played 8 minutes.
Look, I'm not.
And then he closed. He closed the game.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be.
Thad's in. I'm playing Thad. We're playing.
We know he's a high upside player at times.
$3,100 Thaddeus Young here against the Thunder. Gonna break a lot of hearts.
So many hearts.
Gonna break a lot of hearts.
All 2 of us playing him.
Yeah. Gonna break a lot of hearts. All right. Any other power forwards here that we didn't run through?
I don't.
K-Love?
Yeah, the minutes have been nice. The minutes have been pretty nice. Tournaments, it's a tournament only play, but in our sphere, in our radar, on our radar.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Trey Lyles, thoughts?
No.
Okay. This one? No. Just.
He'll get time when Sabonis fouls, and maybe that happens. But like, I've been playing so much Sabonis, I don't want it to happen. Also, like, no.
Well, center here. The Joker is at 11-7.
I mean, just the fact that he had 44 fantasy points in that game is a miracle. A miracle.
He picked up his 5th foul immediately into the third quarter.
Into the third quarter.
And like didn't play again until the 4th. And then
He's
went
a freak.
Nutty in the 4th quarter.
He's a freak. Yeah. A freak.
And
20 shots in 21 minutes.
Centers against Boston has been a thing this year. Like
sure has. Yeah.
A lot of direction here saying we should be considering Jokic. If we aren't playing there, I'm fine going to Sabonis. 85 is a really good price tag for him in this spot against the Lakers.
Yeah, I agree. 5 rebounds an outlier too. It's just a complete outlier.
Yep, I agree. Brolo, man, 6,300.
Yeah, it's hard to fade.
Hard to fade. You liked Jared Allen the other night. He was okay. 49 the day before against the Clippers, 31 against Sacramento. Went for 38 against the Lakers. So I mean, he hasn't been bad. And you've been saying it. Centers against Golden State this year have been productive.
Yeah, dude, they're just like, I mean, they don't play Looney, and then they're just undersized.
They don't play Wiseman anymore.
They don't play Wiseman. Draymond's older, like where he used to be able to be physical and hip and spry, when he was younger. They're 20. What did they just see? They're 22nd in rebounding. Feels like a double for Jared Allen incoming.
Yep, I don't hate that. I do like Isaiah Stewart. He's been foul trouble lately though. Only 20 minutes against Boston. Some blowout run there too, but still 20 minutes against Boston. 12 points, 10 boards. Right, like
he's a freak.
He's really good, but just more so to the Jokic point, dude. Like he's Boston is not good against opposing centers there. Yep. So, any other value centers?
I mean, like I know Gobert's on the other side, but dude, Steven Adams is having quite a fantasy like I don't know. He has 2 19 rebound games in his last 3, and again, I know it's Gobert, but he's gonna be around the rim the whole game. I don't know. Like I don't love it, but
what do you make of Jericho Sims playing 27 minutes?
I mean, they started him, and it makes you wonder. The first game against Minnesota that they started him, if he doesn't get in foul trouble, does he play 27 minutes? Right? Like, do they just view Isaiah Hartenstein as a bench player? Seems that way because they started him once, and then they lose by 15 to Boston, and then they're like, let's not do that again.
Maybe not.
And we've seen Sims twice, so like we know Thibodeau will play guys a lot of minutes. So if Sims is what's like impressing him defensively, 3 blocks and a steal, then yeah, I'm in. Just obviously, fouls seem to be the issue with like every young player across the NBA, and this doesn't seem like anything different. So yes, I agree. It's a good spot. Just please stay out of foul trouble, dude.
Yeah, if you want to play the foul trouble game, you can take a flyer on Jalen Duran. He played 30 minutes against Boston.
Sure.
He also had a double-double. Both centers against the Celtics had a double-double in the last game. So, again, Jokic in play. All right, let's build our lineup here. Do we just plug in Jokic?
I don't know. I don't really remember who was on the slate. I already blacked out. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna do Thad, right? Power forward.
I can't believe. Yeah, I mean, I guess. And we're gonna play Milwaukee value.
Milwaukee value. What, we like Grayson here?
Yeah, I like Grayson and Beauchamp. We're both gonna start and play 30 minutes, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Nwora 44 at small forward.
Nwora stunk, so I don't think he played. He shot 1 of 9, so they just took him off the floor.
Yeah, well, with Grayson Allen, Beauchamp, Young, and Jokic, we have 6,400 a player. So still plenty of money to play around with here. So we did have some 5K guys that we were fans of. If you wanted,
how much do we have? How much do we have left?
6,425 for a point guard forward utility.
Who's our point guard?
We don't have one yet.
Wait, what do we have? Allen, Beauchamp, Jokic,
and Thad Young.
That's it. Oh yeah, I was hoping that wasn't the case.
No, it is. No, it is.
No, it absolutely is.
Van Vliet, 84.
Yeah, probably.
Gives us 57 a play. Almost $5,800 a player for a guard, forward, and utility.
Who did we like at guard, Johnny?
in the 6K-ish range. Vassell's at 68.
Yeah, that's good.
Ivy at 57.
Oh no, yeah, Ivy.
58 for a forward. Obviously, we can spend up a little bit if we want and use some value at utility. OG's at 71. Randall's at 79.
Yeah, I was thinking OG or Portis is where I landed, but if we can get up to Randall.
So we get the Randall, it's 3,700 utility. So we have to find some value. OG is 45. Randall's 46. Much more doable there.
You mean Portis?
Yes, Portis.
Like I said, I'm not afraid to go back to the Bobby P. at all.
I'm fine with it. I'll go back Portis.
Lakers, you could play Troy Brown.
$4,600 util.
Troy Brown what is Malik Monk? Malik Monk is 45.
Yeah, bingo. So here's the one thing about the lineup that we've just created here, James.
Everyone's on the road.
Everybody's on the road. So
I saw it too. Like,
is that good? Not always, but you know what? That's fine. We're gonna run with it. $100 left over.
I mean, Kings, road favorites.
Yeah.
Raptors, road favorites. Bucks, 1 point spread.
Yeah.
Denver getting 4.5, but it's only 4.5.
Detroit.
We don't have to talk about that one.
Okay.
8.5, but like, surprised there's a spread there. 8.5. That makes me think Cade's gonna play.
Probably.
We'll see.
True.
We're okay playing Ivy anyway because it's been good.
Playing Ivy. Yeah. All right. So we got Fred VanVleet, Grayson Allen, Beauchamp, Thad Young at power forward, Jokic, Ivy, Portis, and Monk. $100 left over. That is the lineup for Friday. We'll be back for Monday's live stream and podcast. And of course, we're in the Discord all weekend. So if you have any questions, feel free to hit us up, tweet at us. We'll be there to help you guys win over the weekend as well. So good luck. We'll catch you guys later.